The creative bankruptcy of entertainment can be laid at the feet of many different studios. You got Disney adherent to the message. You got Warner Brothers' scattershot approach to literally everything that they do. But a lot of the problems really do gestate with the streaming services that are out there. Now, at the beginning, Netflix, it was a place that whenever they would put out an original, whether it was Stranger Things, which is just so wild to think that that series is going to be concluding later this year, but it kind of was at the genesis of all this stuff, and you could point to it being the one premium series that Netflix put out that really started to kick off the whole line of high quality associated with Netflix originals. Then you had Narcos and a few other ones that were out there as well, but then after a while, the quality started to wane as the quantity started to skyrocket. So it's so funny how we get to a point now, post-streaming bubble bursting, where you have Hulu hopping in with Disney Plus, hopping in with ESPN's gimmick. You have two different iterations of a CNN streaming service just folding in on itself hilariously. What was this is the last one, CNN Plus, lasting, just a little bit longer, a week longer than Concord. That's a deep cut for some people, but HBO having a rebrand to Max, and you just got failure after failure, and Amazon just, hemorrhaging money, firing their studio head, and then not replacing her with anybody. But no, it was mutual, and she's going to get a first look producer deal. Whatever, man. But generally speaking, there is far more slop being put out by these streaming services than there is anything really worth your time, which is leading to a dilution of the market and people just generally checking out, if we're being completely honest. But for the hubris of the CEO of Netflix coming out and saying that the movie theater system is an outdated concept, believes the streamer, believes that Netflix is saving Hollywood, and you're putting out Happy Gilmore 2 in July. Fuck right off. Ever the company's biggest cheerleader, Netflix CEO Ted Sarandos, believes that not only is the overall concept of the movie theater experience completely outdated, but that the streaming giant's disruption of traditional release norms is actually saving the Hollywood industry. Fucking why would you say that? Sarandos, sure, who served as Netflix's chief content officer for slightly over two decades before being promoted to his current role in 2020, offered this bold progress report while speaking with Time Magazine, editor-in-chief Sam Jacobs during a recent 2025 Time 100 Gala and Summit. "Have you destroyed Hollywood?" Jacobs asked, and to open their time together. Per recaps of the discussion provided by the Hollywood Reporter and Variety. "No," replied Sarandos. "We're saving Hollywood." How do you... Oh my god, right, yeah, and that's... Oh my god, Emilia Perez, yes, the 13-time Oscar-nominated film that probably would have swept the Oscars if it wasn't for Carla Sofia Gascon's interesting tweet history coming to light. I would imagine, man, especially with other revelations, which that's a story that I got to do, how a lot of the voting class for the Oscars didn't even watch this shit. Yeah, that stuff, if it wasn't for those ill-timed tweets coming to light, yeah, Emilia Perez would have ended up winning more Oscars than Return of the King. I want to die inside. From there, offering his thoughts on just why Netflix is currently thriving while the traditional studio system is struggling to survive, the CEO asserted Netflix is a very consumer-focused company. Really? Really? We really do care that we deliver the program to you in a way that you want to watch it, he continued. The exact same quote, and it's a program that you love and desire. So we don't let a lot of the other outside forces get in the way of that. Right. Okay. To this end, Sarandos then pointed to the ongoing decline of global box office polls and asked, "What does that say? What is the consumer trying to tell us? What they'd like to watch movies at home? Thank you." Yeah, especially in the case of Paramount, when they're like, "Oh yeah, we have this huge success in Sonic 3, and it's going to be on streaming in like a couple of weeks." I beg your pardon? The studio and theaters are duking it out, trying to preserve this 45-day window that is completely out of step of consumer experience of just loving a movie. The CEO opined, "We're in a period of transition. Folks grew up thinking, I want to make movies on a gigantic screen and have strangers watch them, and to have them, play out in a theater for 2 months and people cry in sold out shows. It's an outdated concept." Yeah, but you're not addressing also you probably don't want to step on the toes of your creatives, but stuff that you're putting out, I mean, like Electric State, what was that, $360 million from the Russo brothers. Everybody's really excited about their return to the MCU with Avengers Doomsday, right? You know, putting out that crap that nobody talked about, literally nobody talked about for longer than about 20 minutes, just a horrific adaptation. And then I thought Atlas was an Amazon project, but they're of same quality when it comes to stuff. And because Amazon has the deepest pockets on earth, and Apple, they go ahead and they put out a little bit more boutique product, but still, there's a lot of these streaming services that are just simply out there just as a means for prestige, just trying to get attention in that way. Because if it was actually about, you know, driving subscriptions and putting butts in seats, Netflix is probably the only one doing it right now. But if they continue on this very trepidatious trajectory, Netflix isn't going to be around to do this stuff, because they're eventually going to have to reckon with the fact that, yeah, they're spending $300+ million on a vanity project with the Russo brothers that didn't perform whatsoever, that their Netflix original series are getting outshined by Taylor Sheridan on arguably the smallest streaming service in Paramount Plus in the business, with everything that he does. Like, it's wild, man. Netflix, when they put out a banger series, they definitely put out a banger series. And because they kind of set the pace when it comes to tracking the performance of these shows, when it comes to minutes watched, they were the one who established this stuff. They end up, you know, performing the best. So while they're riding high right now, okay, they can go ahead and they can talk up their success, and you'd be hard pressed to find anybody willing to push back in a substantive manner. But I seem to recall in about the mid to late 2000s, when there was another Hollywood studio right up there at the top, that they were definitely talking their shit, because, oh, they had the Nolan Batman series riding high at the theaters. They also had the Harry Potter movies that were out there just crushing it whenever they would release. And no, they thought that they could do no wrong. And how's Warner Brothers doing right now? What is that, $40 billion in debt? Oh, right. If you're fortunate enough to live in Manhattan and you can walk to a multiplex to see a movie, that's fantastic, he argued. Most of the country cannot. Talking about, okay, I think for most people and not for everybody, talking about the experience. Yeah, and this is also the guy that thought that, you know, giving a multi-film deal to Zack Snyder would be a good idea. How many people talked about Army of the Dead when it came out? Oh, right. How's Rebel Moon doing? We're getting any more of those? Closing out his thoughts on this particular part of the discussion, Sarandos told Jacobs that while the ongoing implosion of the theater model does not bother him, what would bother me is if people stopped making great movies. Holy shit, man. But you're really not concerned about that, because earlier this year, and that's why I found it completely hilarious that Netflix is consumer focused, okay? We deliver the program that you... we deliver the program to you in a way that you'll want to watch it, which kind of tells you exactly what they're doing. They're not really concerned at all about doing something substantive. They're not really concerned about making a good product. They're just simply concerned about making a product. Okay, as Netflix is deliberately dumbing down TV so people can watch while scrolling. Oh yes, that's the case. And I didn't know that there was a Lindsay Lohan movie that was out there as well. Irish Wish, bro, come on now. Streaming insiders have claimed that they're being made to rewrite scripts for viewers who use their phones while watching. Is this the end of prestige TV or pure fiction? Yeah, I wish that was hyperbole. Be honest, how much attention do you pay when you watch TV? Well, if I'm watching a good movie, if I'm watching something I care about, yeah, entire world melts away. That is something that has always been the case. But yeah, if you're watching modern slop with the dialogue that is simply written in crayon and drool, you're very likely to just drift and wonder what the weather is going to be like tomorrow or a week and a half from now, or what the seasonal trends are looking like. But yeah, so the streamer was in the news recently thanks to an excellent piece written by Will Talvin and N+1, which reminded readers of the platform's microgene of casual viewing. TV shows and movies designed to be watched while doing something else. One paragraph in the particularly incited a great deal of frustration. Tavlin claimed that Netflix have told various screenwriters to have their protagonists announce what they're doing so that viewers who have this program on in the background can follow along. That's kind of been, like, I'm not really somebody who's ever going to turn on a cable box and just peruse with what passes for network television right now. But every once in a while, I'll hear some dialogue from modern movie. A clip will be making the rounds, and holy shit, holy exposition Batman is definitely what I'm hearing. People just patently and obviously laying out their motivations, just expositing their feelings. Like everybody in the room is autistic. It's like, what happened to dialogue? Just the death of character interactions. No. It's not just the death. It's apparently a murder. Unsurprisingly, this results in atrocious dialogue like the following from Lindsay Lohan film Irish Wish. Well, let's also not pretend like she was like any sign of great talent. She was a great set of tits that regrettably, well, turned into, well, Lindsay Lohan of the late 2000s all the way through to the late 2010s. We spent a day together, Lohan tells her fictitious lover James. I admit it was a beautiful day filled with dramatic vistas and romantic rain, but that doesn't give you the right to question my life choices. Tomorrow I'm marrying Paul Kennedy. Oof. If they just spent we spent all day together and we went to all of those places that we went to. Why would I be telling you this? Tomorrow, I'm sorry, fine, he responds. That will be the last you will see of me because after this job is over, I'm off to Bolivia to photograph an endangered tree lizard. Oh my God. And then after that, I'm going to go to the Amazon to research spiders right before I die. Is it inherently bad to cater to people who may prefer their viewing on the more casual side? Yes, it is, because it's dumbing down for the rest of the audience. Because as much as I look around at your average person and have a generally high level of disgust, I don't think that they have IQs that are lower than their shoe sizes. I tend to want to give people the benefit of the doubt, and that right there, just laying things out so patently obvious. I mean, that's just one of many examples. Again, just go watch Rebel Moon and the fact that right before the big climactic battle in part 2, the Scargiver, a big round table where everybody exposits their backstory. I wish I was joking. And oh yeah, it's all the same thing. The Empire came down and they killed everybody that I care about. Now I'm seeking revenge. All right, next story. Fucking oof. Yo, man, this is the thing. This is the studio that is out here saving entertainment. And when I see stories like this, and when I hear the hubris from the executives that are just leading the race right now, I'm somebody who I want a better class of entertainment. I want higher standards in storytelling, but when shit like this gets reinforced, I mean, instead of just rooting on or observing the destruction of Hollywood and the theater system, I just want to see it all burnt down. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.